Welcome to Old Rare Files. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe, become a member, and like our content.
The day after the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, the image shows damaged ships, smoke, and rescue teams in action at the Hawaiian harbor. This moment marked a decisive turning point in history, leading to the United States' entry into a major conflict. The earliest known photograph of a battlefield amputation was taken in 1847 during the Mexican-American War. The image shows Sergeant Antonio Bustos undergoing a leg removal procedure after suffering a severe injury. This photograph, taken in the Philippines in 1901, shows an interrogation technique used during a period of foreign occupation. The method involved controlled water use as a form of physical and psychological pressure. The scene was documented by military and civilian photographers of the time. Skulls of soldiers found on a battlefield dated 1461 during the Wars of the Roses. The conflict involved the houses of York and Lancaster vying for the English throne. These remains were located in areas associated with the Battle of Towton, one of the fiercest engagements of the period. A German woman photographed in 1942, holding a sign that reads, "I am expelled from the people's community." The message was part of a public punishment for involvement with a Polish citizen. This type of humiliation was used by local authorities to enforce strict social norms. A U.S. Marine depicted exhausted in An Hoa, Vietnam, in 1965. The image shows the physical and emotional toll on soldiers during prolonged missions. An Hoa was an area of intense activity for deployed units during the conflict. Workers high above New York City on the construction of the Empire State Building in 1931. The image captures the daring and balance required to work on such towering structures. The skyscraper became one of the city's most famous landmarks and a symbol of modern engineering. Protective mask used by French tank gunners in 1918 during World War I. Known as a splatter mask, it shielded the face from shrapnel and metal fragments inside the vehicles. Made of reinforced metal and padding, it was mainly used in tanks with limited external visibility. Survivors of the famous charge of the Light Brigade, posing in 1854 during the Crimean War. They were members of the 13th Regiment of Light Dragoons, known for their action at Balaclava. The charge was marked by courage amid a challenging strategic situation. Winston Churchill about to address troops at the ancient theater of Carthage in 1943. The historic site, located in present-day Tunisia, was used as a symbolic gathering point for soldiers. The visit took place during significant operations in North Africa at that time. The preserved remains of a man aged 25 to 30 were found in Austria, dating to the 17th century. Records indicate he was punished using a method employed in Europe at that time. The skeleton shows damage consistent with old public penalty practices. The Bread Line in New York City, 1932. During the Great Depression, thousands struggled to obtain food. Relief organizations distributed basic meals to those without resources. The image symbolizes one of the most challenging periods in U.S. economic history. Italian runner Dorando Pietri crossed the finish line first in the London Marathon of 1908. Exhausted, he fell multiple times and was assisted by officials to cover the final meters. Despite his dramatic finish, he was disqualified for outside interference. The Storahammer's Eye runestone, dating to the 7th century, is located on Gotland, Sweden. It features carved scenes that many scholars believe depict symbolic rituals of Norse culture. One image is interpreted by some as the earliest known depiction of a ritual called Blood Eagle. In 1946, a Douglas C-47 Dakota aircraft crashed in South Ruislip, United Kingdom. Despite the impact, all crew members and the single passenger survived. They were able to walk out of the plane through the front door. Jack the Baboon worked as a railway signal assistant in South Africa during the 1880s. He helped his owner, who had lost his legs, operate the station controls. Over 9 years of service, Jack never made a mistake in his assigned duties. A tank parade held in 1918, marking the end of World War I. The event took place in European cities as a celebration of the conflict's conclusion. Tank models used during the war were displayed to the public. The USS Los Angeles airship, seen moored to the USS Saratoga aircraft carrier in 1928. This experimental maneuver demonstrated the potential integration between lighter-than-air craft and warships. The USS Los Angeles was a rigid airship built in Germany and delivered to the United States as part of post-war reparations. Missile launchers aboard a Soviet Juliet-class Project 651 submarine documented in 1959. These submarines were developed during a period of strategic naval advancements. Equipped with long-range missiles, they were used for patrols and demonstrations of deterrent capability. The Lokachin wagon is an ancient wooden vehicle about 4,000 years old, uncovered in Armenia. It was found in the Lokachin area near Lake Sevan in a Bronze Age tomb. The wagon is remarkably well preserved, with intact wheels and frame. Union soldiers positioned in the trenches just before the Second Battle of Fredericksburg in 1863. The image shows preparations amid uneven terrain and defensive structures. These moments were recorded by photographers of the time to document the reality of the conflict. The rock formation known as Corpse Rock is located in Mammoth Cave in the United States. In the 1840s, the site was used as a waiting point for patients who had died during experimental treatments inside the cave. Workers assembling the side structural supports of the Space Needle in Seattle in 1961. The pieces, known as outrigger fins, were part of the futuristic base design. The tower was built for the 1962 World's Fair and became a city icon. The image shows the precision and boldness involved in the engineering of the time. The 8209th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital in action in Korea, 1952. These units were set up near front lines to provide rapid aid to the wounded. They inspired the famous MASH series, which depicted the daily lives of these professionals. This Assyrian relief, dating to around 645 BCE, depicts scenes from the Battle of Til Tuba between the Assyrians and the Elamites. Carved in stone, the panel shows Assyrian soldiers dealing with enemy leaders after the conflict. The Egyptian pyramids, photographed from a hot air balloon in 1904. The image provides a rare aerial view for the time, showing the structures amid the desert. This photograph marked an advance in visual documentation techniques of historical sites. A woman bidding farewell with a kiss to a soldier in 1941 during World War II. The moment was captured at a U.S. train station before troop embarkation. Thousands of families experienced emotional goodbyes during this period. The obelisk known as Cleopatra's Needle left Alexandria for London in 1877. The granite monument, over 3,500 years old, was shipped by sea in a complex operation. It was a gift from Egypt to the United Kingdom and now stands on the banks of the River Thames. Jimmy Johnston, known as a powder monkey, served aboard the U.S. gunboat Forest Rose in 1864. These young boys were responsible for carrying gunpowder to the cannons during naval battles. Despite their youth, they played a critical role in the operation of military vessels. Airplane mail transport in Germany in 1912. The aircraft was used to carry letters more quickly between cities in one of the earliest trials of its kind. This development marked the beginning of airmail service in the country and across Europe. Archaeologists having a meal inside the tomb of Ramesses XIII in Egypt in 1923. The practice was common among researchers of the time, who used the site as shelter and a resting area. The tomb, located in the Valley of the Kings, was still being explored and cataloged. Workers emerging from a mine shaft in Virginia City, Nevada, during the 1870s. The town was one of the United States' leading silver mining centers at the time. After long hours underground, miners surfaced covered in dust and fatigue. An aircraft parked in front of St. Paul's Cathedral in London during the 1940s. The image was taken during a period of heavy air activity over the city. St. Paul's became a symbol of resilience and continuity in challenging times. Sylvain Dornon traveled from Paris to Moscow on stilts in 58 days in 1891. The journey covered about 1,740 miles, crossing various countries and terrains. He was known as the Stilt Man and promoted this unusual mode of travel. The Roman mosaic of Zliten, dating to the 2nd century CE, depicts detailed scenes of public life in ancient Rome. The work shows musical performances, gladiator fights, animal hunts, and public executions in arenas. These mosaics were common in Roman villas and served both as decoration and as a visual record of customs. Rare coin of Cleopatra VII, minted in Greece around 32 BCE. The piece depicts the profile of the Egyptian queen, one of the most famous figures of antiquity. Such coins were used to assert power and political presence beyond Egypt. The Selfridges department store in London was lavishly decorated in 1937 for the coronation of King George VI. Flags, fabrics, and ornaments adorned the facade in tribute to the royal ceremony. The coronation attracted widespread attention and was celebrated across the United Kingdom. Elsie Alcock has lived in the same house for 105 years, since she was born in one of its rooms in 1918 during World War I. Located in the United Kingdom, the residence has remained in the family for generations. She has witnessed historic, social, and technological changes over a century. Teacher and students posing in front of a sod schoolhouse in Woods County, Oklahoma, in 1895. These sod houses were built with blocks of earth and grass, common in resource-scarce regions. The school served rural children and operated with a simple, community-based structure. Experts working on the restoration of a Viking rune stone in Västergötland, Sweden, in 1936. The carved runes bear ancient inscriptions recording names, deeds, or honors. These stones are valuable documents of medieval Norse culture. A member of the Fondong tribe photographed with ornamental skin scars in 1910 in East Africa. These scars were intentionally made and held cultural meanings such as status, identity, or rites of passage. The practice was traditional and passed down through generations within the community. Napoleon Bonaparte? Actually, it's Charlie Chaplin dressed as the Emperor at a costume party in 1926. The famous actor and director was known for his humor and flair for theatrical costumes. This portrayal took place during a social event among artists and celebrities. A Mercedes-Benz convertible from the 1930s, widely used by officers and dignitaries at formal events. The vehicle features a classic design with chrome trim and large wheels, typical of the pre-1945 era. The Vauxhall Motor Hansom cab, photographed in 1905, represents one of the earliest motorized taxi models. Inspired by traditional horse-drawn carriages, it was fitted with a combustion engine. It was used for urban transport in cities like London, offering a mobility innovation. The General Store in Weslaco, Texas, documented in 1964. The establishment offered a variety of goods, from food to household items, serving as a community hub. Such stores were common in small towns and functioned as gathering places for neighbors. A basketball game between Boyles High and Tech High in Atlanta, Georgia, in 1921. The match took place in a school gymnasium with students and teachers in attendance. The sport was gaining popularity in southern U.S. schools at that time. The image shows the simple uniforms and playing style of the early generations of school basketball. German rower Bernhard von Gaza competed at the 1908 London Olympic Games. He won the bronze medal in the rowing competition, representing his country with distinction. Athletes of the time competed in grueling events, requiring strength, technique, and endurance. French tennis star Suzanne Lenglen was one of the greatest players of her era. She won 8 Grand Slam titles and earned 2 gold medals and 1 bronze at the 1920 Antwerp Games. She was renowned for her elegant style and court dominance. A homemade 4-person swing photographed in Finland in 1954. Made of wood and rope, the play structure shows families' creativity for outdoor leisure. Children and adults enjoyed these moments in gardens and backyards during the summer. The Universe 25 experiment, launched in 1958 by researcher John B. Calhoun, simulated a mouse society in an ideal environment. With unlimited access to food and water, the population grew rapidly until it reached overcrowding.